Okay. Okay. So I am going to, Allie, you could, and Allie is leading our, she's running the slideshow for us. So thanks, Allie. Um, so I'm gonna kind of walk you through the house. Not literally, not today. So we have updates on the construction, the cafe, and then everything else that we're doing in the house. So I would like to start with the construction. And it's interesting because we really debated about a date for this. We didn't know when our part of the construction was starting. We settled on this date. Well, lo and behold, we started construction yesterday. So we're really excited. I know some of you have said to me that you've already seen it. And we do have some pictures from actually earlier in the week, the inside of the house, as well as the outside yesterday when we started the construction. So to tell you more about the construction though, I want to introduce Phil Ritter, who is a Valley Forge Park Alliance board member. Phil actually got involved in the project. IMC
Can I put mine
gave
on
us
mute?
Phil um, a few years ago when we started this and we needed advice on how to do this project at all. Phil's still with us. He joined our board and he's leading the construction team on this house. And actually, we're going to talk about our donor wall later. I'm really happy to say that IMC Construction is at the top of our donor wall because of the tremendous in-kind gift that they have given us in the construction and the project management department. So Phil, I'm gonna turn it over to you to talk more about the construction.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Happy to say that we're started. So that's it's been a long time coming, but we're really excited. We started this week, and Molly, I don't know if you got any of the more recent photos from yesterday in here, but we actually started putting the deck together, and walls started going up today for the restroom. So
Yep,
we're
right there.
progressing. There you go, perfect. So it's real, I guess we can say. And
Did?
we're excited. So we're going to continue through. Hopefully, the weather cooperates with us over the next several weeks, and the walls will be up quickly. And then once the deck and the area outside is all finished up, we'll move inside and start on the cafe. Once things get a bit colder, we'll move inside and then we'll finish up out in the parking lot and in the springtime. And yeah, just excited to get started and ready to see some progress. The inside of the house for everybody's that the park was working on is just about finished. There was some finished painting and things of that nature that they're working on, but the inside is just about done. So that's also a positive sign of things. So we're moving along.
Yep. Thank you very much, Phil. And we do have, so Allie's skipping around, but that's fine because we can talk about all these. So I think you can stay there right now, Allie. So if this was our, first day we've had rain, right? And forever was yesterday when they started. So but I'm glad they've been able to work through it. And we're excited because we know that this is going to go up really quickly. When we've looked at how, there's been a lot going on over the course of the last year of construction. We're excited that this is really the last part of it and it's going to be super visible and very exciting to everybody who is eager to go visit the
Weird.
house. Okay, so next let's look at these slides. So I think you've seen this slide before, but this is just like an image of what the house is going to look like. This is like if you're in the back of the house in the Grand Parade. The 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 bit of wood that you saw in that last photo was what's this going to turn into this addition, which is accessible restrooms and ramps that make the whole first floor of the building accessible, and deck space that will be outdoor seating for the cafe. And this is actually just a little diagram of that deck seating. So the yellow is actually what we're going to do is bar tables like you see in the image, although it will not be on the ocean. It will be overlooking the Grand Parade, but we're gonna just to maximize seating and to maximize everybody's view of the beautiful Grand Parade. We're going to have these tall, kind of narrow bar tables. This is not exactly it, but this is the idea rather than many, many little tables. Although for ADA purposes, we'll still have a few regular tables. So I know it's hard to picture. I look at this all the time and it's still hard to picture, but the more this construction proceeds, the more we'll all be able to see it. So Allie, what is the next slide here? And this is just, so actually on Monday, we were able to go into the house and most of the painting is done. So these are just upstairs rooms. We're working with the Gecko group, who's doing really great interior design and interpretation for us inside. And so most of the rooms, they're kind of all a little bit different colors, but they're all muted, um, beautiful colors, I'm gonna say. And the floor is going to be refinished. So we're excited about that as well. And the next slide brings us to Aneu. So we're excited to have Meredith Coyle with us tonight, who is the owner of Aneu Kitchens, and Aneu will be our cafe operator. So we did this little pose earlier in the week. This is something that's going to be part of our holiday card that's going out soon. So Meredith, we're so
Thank you.
glad you're here. We
Oh,
can't
thank you.
wait to eat and drink at Maurice Stephens House. So tell us a little bit more about what's going to happen.
Thank you so much for having me tonight. Welcome, everybody. We are so excited. Seeing these pictures that Phil and his team have put together, it's just amazing. I can see the parties already. So I think that's the most important part, is that the house can be used in part and parcel or in its entirety for all different kinds of events. And we at Aneu are excited to bring our healthy lifestyle to the park, which I think is just a perfect synergistic marriage of health and wellness and lifestyle and history. And we are thoroughly looking forward to this and hoping for March to come quickly so we can get some of these parties started. We will be offering daily breakfast, lunch, and dinners to go, all grab and go, but with 40 seats inside and out. I think this is going to become a destination space for so many people. We're looking to drive revenue to the Alliance of upwards of $120,000 a year. And I think that is going to take Molly and her team to another level for all the things that they can do in the park and everywhere in our area. So I'm very excited to be there. I'm happy to talk to people about menus and event planning and parties and all of those things. I will be on site for the first few months to make sure the transition is good. And Phil and I together are making a beautiful historical space into a gorgeous cafe. So we're very excited.
Thanks, Meredith. We are very excited too.
Yeah.
And so this is just another one of these like kind of hard to understand for certain people like me images. But the cafe space is on the far left here. And like Meredith said, it's all grab and go. And then the rest of the building is open for seating for people who want to stay and enjoy whatever they purchased. And it's going to be this amazing community space that we're very excited about. And so I wanted to show you a little bit of what that's going to look like. So this is the mural that you see here is going to be painted onto the kind of the largest empty wall in the room beside the cafe. And this is kind of like a community room. It's the biggest room in the house that is like an old farmhouse with many small rooms. So this is going to be our main gathering space. We're excited for this mural that's going to be painted there. It's hard to see, but what it is going to be an image of Mount Joy. So it's going to be beautiful. And what it says there is in this place over time. And so the story that we're going to be telling throughout the house is the story of the transformation of the Grand Parade, of the transformation of Valley Forge over time, from when there were dinosaurs roaming in Valley Forge up until right now. So you can't really see what those images are, but those are going to be framed like a salon style gallery there. We're going to have very interesting images throughout the house. And on the next slide, I think, so this is one of the stories that we're telling. And we have been working directly with the 4 federally recognized tribes who were at Valley Forge. And that's part of the story that we're going to be telling, but actually they're telling, because we've worked closely with them to use the images and the words that they want to share about this space that was their homeland for 25,000 years or so before William Penn and George Washington arrived. So we've been working with them. We're eager to share their story and invite them to our ribbon cutting. And to me, the most interesting part of their story is that they've told us we're still here and we want to be part of what's continuing here. So we're really excited about that. Next slide. And these are just a few more images of other stories of transformation of this space over time. So I don't know what your screens are like, how big they are. These aren't the easiest things to see, especially the one on the top left. That is the Port Kennedy Bone Cave. And Allie's circling there. That is a person. He's all dressed up. And these were the people who, found this bone cave, which was one of the most important fossil deposits in North America, right here in the Grand Parade. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then years later, in the picture below is the Arrett Manufacturing Company, basically same location, where they were manufacturing asbestos. And so that now has been cleaned up. The land's clean again. And we've transformed it into this incredible meadow space. So there's lots and lots of stories that we're telling throughout the house. And one of the others is about Anna Morris Holstein, who really in many ways is the founder of Valley Forge Park, because she is the person who led the charge to save Washington's headquarters back in the late 1800s. And without her, we wouldn't have Valley Forge Park. So she is our model for citizen stewardship that we are trying to follow. And we're proud to do that. So the next slide, and there are current citizen stewards, right? So at this point, I want to turn it over to Scott Sibley, who is the Valley Forge Park Alliance Board Chair. And he's going to talk a little bit about a few remaining things that are going on and that will go on in the house. Scott.
All right, thanks, Molly, and good evening, everyone. You haven't seen me much in the past with this project, but I've been involved since the start of the discussions with the park staff about the Maurice Stephens House, and I'm honored to take over the leadership of the Alliance Board as Amy Johnson's moving on to focus on our retail project to make sure that we are making the best use of the house. I'm going to talk about a couple more items related to the house. First, the the house will require a new level of volunteers. We're going to need hosts to greet people. We're going to need assistance with maintenance and repairs and upkeep. We're going to need to do training for all the staff and the volunteers that are greeting people, greeting visitors and customers. And we're also going to have some new office duties now that we've got an office for our staff and our programs. So we'd like to have people let us know if you're interested in starting or increasing your volunteer involvement. Leslie Gresco leads our volunteer committee, and she does a great job of filling all of our needs with volunteers. You can email her at volunteer@vfparkalliance.org. If you missed that, it's on the website. Click on Get Involved, and you can fill out the information about wanting to volunteer. Next slide. So we're looking forward to expanding our programming. This is one of the great things that we've been looking forward to, of having a house within that's our headquarters within the park and right here on the Grand Parade. So we've already been doing some mindfulness walks which in conjunction with trained staff from Damien Counseling. And we want to do more of those, particularly we might have some for different cohorts of people, such as so for veterans or for other groups that have a shared background that might want to walk and contribute to their mental and emotional health by spending time outdoors and in our great meadow. We're also going to focus on some programming for the Patriots of African Descent. There's a monument. It's just a quarter mile from our parking lot, and it's one of the only monuments in the national park to African Americans that were involved in the Revolution. So we want to have some programming on that and tell that story as well. And then the indigenous storytelling, as Molly was just talking about, the native tribes that were in this area before and after the 6 months of the encampment, plus the other transformations that have gone on, as Molly was talking about. You know, this site has been here for thousands and thousands of years, used by all different for all different purposes, and it was 6 months as an army encampment, and so that's the piece that it's been the focus of preserving it, but there's lots of stories to tell about the other uses of the site through the years. Then we also want to use it as a site for some nature programming in the meadow. We already have bird walks. We want to expand those and then add other programmings, maybe about butterflies and about plants and about the other animals that are in the meadow, and have programs for children and for adults about all the natural resources in the park. And part of the natural resources is night sky. Whenever there's a thing in the news that there's going to be some celestial event, a comet or northern lights, people think about where to go to find some open space to look for them. And Valley Forge is one of the places that people come. So we want to actually provide some programming when these things are going on, so that we could have some experts talk about what to look for. Maybe you have some people with telescopes or help us to try to find things, and to have some programming about what is in the aspect of nature that's up above us in this great piece of open space that we're on the edge of. So we've got lots of ideas and opportunities to grow our programming, and looking forward to adding those to bring more people into the park and into the areas of Valley Forge Park Alliance. This slide is showing the information for our donor wall. It does keep getting updated, but we're going to have to stop doing updates in about a week so that we can send this to get production and have it ready to put on the wall in the house. So to those of you that are donors, thank you. We're really excited. We reached our goal, and it's because of the people on here, plus other people that gave smaller gifts and helped out in many ways. And as Molly said, IMC is going to be added on here in the top category because of all the services that they've offered with full time and with the work that they're doing now to manage the construction. So if you want to get on the donor wall or to add to your gift to move onto the donor wall or move up, contact us. We have just this week until next like the end of November to make changes to this. But we can also take that as a pledge and get you on there and work out the details of making your contribution later if there's interest, because there's lots of things that we've come across as we're doing the design and getting ready for the construction, that how about we do this? How about we add this in? Maybe we can get some additional furniture or things like that. And even the programming is something that we want to make sure that we've got enough funding in place to add that programming once we're in the house. So even though we've made the goal, we're still looking for your contributions to help successfully launch this project once we get there. And with that, I think we're ready to look at questions.
Yeah, I have one more thing to say about donors. So we did we had a matching opportunity earlier this year. And I'm trying to think how many, maybe we had about 50 folks who participated. And we said that you would get a Valley Forge Park Alliance tumbler. Okay, this is hard to show on Zoom, but are these very beautiful, I can't get it into focus, tumblers that we had Tervis make. So they're made in the US. They're just beautiful. I have them, and we're going to be distributing them to everybody who participated. So thank you. It's been a while, but we haven't forgotten. And thank you. So, but Scott is right. It's time for questions and answers. I don't see any questions, but it's not too late. Oh, we do. Will there be bicycle racks? That is an excellent question. I've been thinking about that myself, and I think we have that in the plans already. Phil, do you know?
It was a topic of conversation for the outlet at the parking lot area, and I don't know that we've settled on it yet. It was kind of left with the park a little bit to make some decisions.
Yeah, so it's an excellent suggestion. And I think that at some point if they're not already in there, it's definitely a bike friendly location, and we're going to need to have bike racks. Okay, will volunteers be working at the restaurant? I'm going to leave that to Meredith to really answer, but I think probably
No.
not directly in the cafe. So do you want to just talk about what the cafe operation looks like, Meredith?
Sure. So the space is really small, being that we kept it as historically correct as possible. And there's basically enough room for 2, maybe 3 employees of Aneu. So we won't have volunteers there, but I think that Molly, correct me if I'm wrong, you'll have them in the main room.
Yeah.
And they will know, we will have a relationship enough with them to know, that they'll know what's going on so they can help in any way. But sadly, there's just not enough room, to be honest.
Yeah. And Vincent, so volunteers, I think the way that we're really looking at it, we're kind of looking at the visitor center front desk volunteers. You might know a few, right? As a model, because we're looking at volunteers who will be kind of greeters, ambassadors for the Alliance, people who can answer questions about lots of the visitor questions. So we're kind of looking at that visitor center front desk model. How much parking will there be? Well, Laura, as you know, there's a parking lot there now, which we're really happy about. And we're actually planning to expand that parking lot, I guess around the bicentennial. That parking lot was doubled in size, and the park has since covered it. We're going to turn it into parking again. How many spots exactly? I don't know. Phil, do you know that?
The expansion lot, there's roughly 25 or so, and then in the existing lot, once we're all said and done, it'll be about 20, 25, somewhere in that range.
So,
But 50 total.
The other thing that we will be doing for events is that we have a really good relationship with the chapel across the street, and so be able to park there for events, and then we're working out about how to get people from that parking lot down to the house. It is a little bit of a steep hill, but we've used a golf cart for some things, or a shuttle bus or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so Terry asks, when will reservations online be available, and will there be options for the amount of space to be reserved? Well,
I can,
reservations will be available when we know that we could actually be open. So you all will be first to know. Let's put it that way. I don't think we know yet. Is there more that you could add about that, Meredith?
well, the only thing I would add is that there's the upstairs space that will hold 20 to 25 for corporate meetings, bridal showers, baby showers, those kind of things. While the park is open, we can't rent out the entire space,
Mhm.
but for night events after probably 5 o'clock, people can rent the entire space, including the outside deck. So there will be different
Right.
ways in which you can rent the space. And that will all be available as soon as Phil finishes.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Any other questions? And you could certainly reach out to me or any of us anytime. How many restrooms? 2. There are 2 restrooms in that structure that we're building right now. They're both handicapped accessible. Yeah, there are 2 restrooms, and it's kind of interesting because there's going to be a breezeway between the restrooms and the house. So those restrooms are also, they're not really just tied to our property, because that area is also a trailhead for the Grand Parade Trail. So yeah, so it's kind of going to be an interesting dynamic to me as far as, is this a really popular restroom for park users who might not even be coming in the cafe? So it's something that we've really talked to the park a lot, and we're just going to have to see how it goes. Hours of operation, are they every day? Well,
That's another one. We'll be open 7 days a week. Our plan is to open at 7 a.m. for coffee and breakfast. And, probably till 5 o'clock. Weekends are going to be later in the day. And because we're hopefully opening in March, we'll have a couple of months before the rush to sort of filter that out. But we'll definitely be 7 days a week.
thanks, Meredith. All right. Well, we'll give you guys another second, but I'll kind of try to wrap it up, which is perfect. We went a half an hour. Thanks everybody for joining us. We're just ecstatic that this project is where it is now, and that even though we thought, oh, well, if you look at the sign that's down on the fence, it says we'll be opening in the fall 2024. And I think we said earlier before that, but we are under construction. We have raised the funding we need. We are ordering tables and chairs. We're almost there. And seriously, it is because of all of you. So thank you. We can't wait for our opening celebrations in the spring. And we can't wait to see all of you often in the park. It's something that we have never had at the Alliance, a location in the park. And we're so happy to have it. And we're so excited to see you all, to do this expanded programming, to be able to offer amazing food and drinks, and just really to be able to celebrate Valley Forge Park together. So thanks, everybody. Have a lovely evening. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we'll see you in 2025 at the Maurice Stephens House. Thanks, everyone, and good
Thanks,
night.
Mom. Okay, wasn't that nice?
Molly, did you stop the recording?